We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show, episode 368. And Happy New Year. Happy 2022. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. Joining me, as always, the undisputed scholar himself, Scholar Tarek. Scholar Tarek, how is your evening going, sir?
My evening is going very well. And now I'm just thinking next week when we have our next episode, I'm just going to leave that little message that pops up the Zoom call. The host has started the show. Let's see how long that thing actually stays on, if it stays on the entire show. Or is it like one of those, yeah, you haven't touched anything for like 5 minutes. Automatically turn off.
Are you alive?
Are you alive?
Speaking of being alive, joining us this week, as always, is our man and yours, Scholar Brian. Scholar Brian, how is your evening going, sir?
It is going perfectly well. I'm just sitting on this couch, hoping and praying that WWE does better in every aspect than they did. I can't even finish the sentence. They've already failed. It's already done.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, all that and more as 2022 kicks off. But before we do that, what could we talk about more first than the bodies that have piled up this week in a little segment we like to call Backstage News?
Indeed, we shall go ahead and peek behind that curtain once again and notice, wow, there aren't as many people back here as I thought it was going to be in this rendition of
Backstage
News.
Bodies hit the floor.
Not in the good way, unfortunately. Yes, friends, it's become as American as apple pie and as traditional as WWE. It's honestly more of a tradition than the King of the Ring at this point, which is really saying something. But yes, there has been, unfortunately, yes, there have been another round of releases from WWE, specifically on the NXT management team, which do include William Regal, Samoa Joe, Road Dogg, and several other influential NXT coaches and employees.
Timothy
Thatcher, who I didn't even know at the time was actually a coach, but
Danny
there goes
Burch.
another one. There
Danny
goes another
Burch.
one.
Yeah.
And who was it from what is Roderick Strong's stable's name?
Roderick Strong's stable.
Jackie Suzuki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the stable's name again?
Diamond Mine.
Diamond Mine. That's
Oh
it.
Yeah.
Roderick, no.
But
he lost the cruiserweight title.
Here's the deal. All right. All this is okay. Shawn Michaels tried to play it off like it wasn't happening. He is the gif with the fire in the room and the dog just sitting on the table saying everything's fine. But everything that Triple H built, everything that has his name stamped on it, everyone that he brought in, anything that has to do with his version of the product, they just got rid of in one fell swoop.
I wouldn't even say one fell swoop, but it is they're taking chunks out of them. They really are.
Well, the deal is, okay, the big time superstars that he made that never left NXT, they're all gone. All of them. Every single one. Okay. Now they're going after his buddies in the backstage area who produced the show and the referees and the general managers. They got rid of William Regal, dude.
That's the one that hit the heart the most.
They got rid of William Regal, who was the face of the Triple H NXT era. As soon as they said that he was let go, it's just like there's nothing left. And then they just confirmed that. They confirmed that yesterday with the news of Samoa Joe.
it's just completely just mind-boggling. I'm gonna just say this right now. William Regal is gonna be the greatest general manager role that WWE's ever produced. Better than Eric Bischoff, better than Paul Heyman, better than Teddy Long, better than Vicky Guerrero, better than John Laurinaitis, better than what? Corbin,
Mick
the
Foley.
anonymous Mick Foley, the anonymous Raw GM, Stephanie, Shane. Let's see who else. Let's keep this
Yeah,
going.
because it's like
Teddy
How many
Long.
of them-
he
I already said, yeah, I
proved
said Teddy
that
Long.
All right.
he proved that the general manager didn't need to be an adversary role.
An adversary
It didn't
role, or just
need-
like
It didn't need to be a bad guy. There didn't need to be a guy who was against any of his people. He just did the job.
Mhm.
And it proved that you could actually have that in
And how long did he
a
have it?
wrestling capacity. Everybody else had an adversary. They were against the good guys. They were against the bad guys. Teddy Long was a very big fan of tag team matches, and very big
Holla,
fan
holla.
of putting people against the Undertaker. but it and he has the most iconic call of a match
Of course.
that I've ever seen, when he says "War Games." It's just like you'll never get that back, and
Like-
that's why NXT is so hard to watch now, because everything about it that I loved when I watched NXT, it's gone now.
Mhm.
It's all gone. And with that message, with that tweet that Tommaso Ciampa put up after New Year's Evil, pretty sure he's either going up to the main roster or he's gone now too. So that
To continue with what was being said about Regal, I tried to say this, but I just couldn't get the words out. The one thing I liked when he was with his character, like with what you said, Brian, he was just doing the job. What I liked about him in his like general manager role is he didn't take over the show. He wasn't like one of those like the big stars on the show that showed up constantly, basically stealing the limelight from the wrestlers. He was just there to make things official. He was there in backstage segments. He was there to call out War Games. So yeah, that's one big factor on why, like, I would say he's the best authority figure role in the company's history, because he wasn't really a full character that took over segments of the show. He was just there to be an official.
Yeah, and it's also that most authority figures, they're in one specific storyline with one specific group of people, and that's all you ever see them. Okay, they're the general manager, they're the authority figure, but you only see them with like 5 to 10 different people. Okay,
Yeah.
William Regal, you saw with everybody.
Mhm.
Okay, he everybody who had a feud, everybody who he wasn't entrenched in a storyline with like 3 guys, with like 4 guys. It was like that when he had moments on the show, it wasn't always with main eventers and with top matches. Okay. He came out and he made matches for everybody.
Yeah.
And I have never seen a general manager do that. Each general manager on the main roster has always been in a storyline with a with main eventers, with people who are regularly on the show. Like William Regal was on screen with guys who you hadn't seen on NXT in a month. And that's it. And there they are with William Regal.
And
So
then you look at like other other people that were released this week, like Samoa Joe was. I don't think at this point, I don't even think we're ever going to find out what his medical condition was that had him stripped of the title.
Well, I'm pretty sure that even with the medical condition, okay, they weren't gonna let him back in the ring either way, because he was a coach and apparently he was fine with it, and they had no plans for him. So it's like, why did you bring him back? It was a Triple H
belt to
move.
begin with.
It was a Triple H move to bring him back, and once they said that we're not going to do things the Triple H way anymore, and then the guy that he brought in needed to go.
And then you
They
have
were going to have nothing for him.
and you have Brian James, who I don't even understand, is just more. There wasn't even any real reason. Like there was no John Laurinaitis messages of budget cuts or anything. There's just we want to go in different places with NXT. Essentially, we don't want to do Triple H's view anymore. And having Braun Breaker come in New Year's Evil and kick the Golden X solidified that.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up later, but yeah, let's just get it out of the way now. That was just like, I didn't watch New Year's Evil because I knew what was going to happen. I just didn't expect that kind of just like full on, just like, yeah, I'm going to, not only am I going to take the title, I'm going to declare to you and the audience in no uncertain terms that the NXT, the black and gold, the one that you used to love, is now dead and gone forever.
I read that Braun Breaker didn't know that was going to happen until a couple hours before the show started. That this was essentially a Vince McMahon call, and it just makes me really
wonder. It makes you really wonder how he feels about his son-in-law, because holy shit, dude, he just took his entire creation. The dude had a heart attack like 4 months ago. And in the time that he's been out, Vince McMahon has taken his creation and killed it dead.
And I'm going to make this perfectly clear. I like Braun Breaker. I actually think the kid has a future. He's very good. And I actually like the digital exclusive of him celebrating with Rick Steiner.
Yeah,
after he won the belt. I personally wish that was on the show itself, not as an exclusive thing. Because I actually think this kid has a very good future down the line, and
so did Roman Reigns. So did Roman Reigns, but
I don't have a.
So did John Cena, for that matter. And yeah, they became big stars, but it's like that's not the big problem with them. It never was. You know what I mean?
I don't have a problem with Braun Breaker. I don't have a problem with Braun Breaker. I don't have a problem with Braun Breaker winning the championship. I have a problem with the huge fuck you to Triple H that they had at the beginning of the match. That just makes me.
It's now just slowly deteriorating the thought that I've been having these last couple of years of, well, this company is going to do a lot better once him and Stephanie take over. That is slowly, and especially after this, it's slowly reaching that point with, I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I don't think Vince is going to give it to Triple H and Stephanie once he's done or in the ground.
That seems to be the growing consensus right now. Yeah.
And with, I think it was Mike Chioda a while back, just saying how much the family is in not good terms. And it's, well, that's a good way of showing it. Just basically, as Brian put it, a big middle finger to the one thing that fans were legit having fun with your product, the only thing in your product that the fans were having legit fun with. And he's just like, yeah, you see all that the past, it's Kathleen Kennedy's go at Star Wars, let the past die. Love what I'm presenting you. I'm gonna just shove that shit in your face till you like it. And at this point, it is just impossible for me to like this company. And it's like, I like the wrestlers in it. That's one thing I will always say. The roster that WWE has is a phenomenal roster. But when you don't utilize this roster and only display a handful of people and just like actually give it an A effort, and the rest of them are just filler, it's impossible to get invested in anything that they put on, because they don't seem to care. So why should I?
And that is really the same sentiment that I have to echo here. I want to like the Braun Breakers of the world, but I'm just like, as soon as he walked out that first night, we all had him pegged. Like, okay, that was even one of my predictions. Like, Braun Breaker is going to be NXT champion in 2022. I didn't expect it to happen that fast, but at the same time, at this point, I'm just not shocked. It's like, it's whatever, whether it's good or it's bad. The philosophy right now seems to be from WWE, you like what we present to you or shove it. But that being said, have we all seen WWE Day One here?
Yes.
Okay, now, honestly, I like we were talking about before we started recording this episode, I wasn't paying too close of attention to this. I just sort of had it on the background, like, okay, it's something to do while we're unwinding at the end of the day. But my wife, who's more of a casual fan, is less jaded than the rest of us. She was paying closer attention the entire night, and she just was looking at it like, you know what? These matches are pretty good compared to what we normally get. So halfway through, I started paying more attention, and overall, the matches were pretty solid for the most part. Obviously not perfect, but let me know what you guys thought. Did you see it?
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't see it. I guess Brian should go first as a guy who just hasn't sat and watched it. But I'm generally, for me, I'm not surprised, because WWE seems to actually try and put on good wrestling matches on their pay-per-views or special Peacock event or whatever the hell they call it these days.
Premier
'Cause
live
that's-
events, which actually I
Premier
don't
li-
hate that name.
yeah,
Premier
The-
live events. Okay.
Yeah.
But like, the whole point of this show is, the whole point of it is to have Raw and SmackDown get me excited to watch these shows. And when you're only doing one match, actually giving your time, was it Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, because apparently that's the only feud that actually matters in WWE. And then you just throw Brock Lesnar into the WWE title picture, which I heard was actually a fun 8-minute match, because it was essentially the normal Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman booked match of just special moves, finisher, dream suplex, big move, special.
And honestly, it was, but it also moved the whole match at brisk pace so that it never didn't get boring.
yeah. I wouldn't put it at the level of the what was it? Lesnar, Joe, Strowman, and that fatal 4-way that was so good. Was Reigns also in that?
Was Reigns in that?
I know
I
it
know
was a
what
fatal
show you're
4-way.
talking about, because that was like a big Braun Strowman show of power.
and everybody loved that because it was exactly what it needed to be, and that the deal here with Day One and WWE in general is that our problem with these pay-per-views or premier live events or whatever you want to call them, our problem has never been with the actual wrestling.
No.
Our problem has been that it's the age-old syndrome. It's like your booking choices are so bad that even though the wrestling is good, why do I care about what I'm watching?
Because there's no the wrestling doesn't have a payoff.
And
Whatever,
this
with
is
the disqualification endings or distraction endings or just
and
in
this
general
is
bad booking decisions.
and this goes in the same exact direction, because speaking of that 8-minute Brock Lesnar match, it's one of those where, like, yeah, what's probably going to happen, what's probably going to be built up is a unification match on the first night of WrestleMania, and the Royal Rumble winner wins and gets the shot at night 2, which would be logical booking, but it's WWE, so who knows? But it's also, once again, okay, you have sacrificed a character, okay, who is probably going to lose anyway, according to Meltzer and all them. Apparently, Rollins was supposed to win on day one,
and now he's facing Roman Reigns.
But but it's, you've sacrificed 4 other people in the match.
That's the weird thing about this, about that WWE title match, is there was no real story to it. It was just, here, let's just keep throwing the top names of Raw in. Oh yeah, Bobby Lashley's not in this match too. Throw him in there.
If I'm Seth Rollins, I'd be pissed.
Well, yeah, because he was supposed to be just the one-on-one, and it became a triple threat, then became a fatal 4-way, and then it became a fatal 5-way. And people from what I've been reading, people actually have been thinking, okay, now that Brock is in this title match is actually interesting now. And it just makes me now look at Big E's WWE title run and just think, wow, this was a terrible title reign for this man.
Yeah, because the issue is, okay, and the WWE is going to look at this and follow it. Okay, Day One sold out. Day One sold out quickly. Day One sold out because of Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. And that's it. So they're going to take that into consideration, and we're going to continue with what's been shown to us this far, because they announced Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the title, and then ticket sales jumped up. That's confirmed. That is fact. So
you would think this is like their 10th time facing each other in the past like 3 years. You would think people would get.
Apparently Macaulay Culkin is already sick of it, and he has said so.
Yeah, well, I actually laughed out loud at that too.
Yeah, apparently not, because that match got announced and then ticket sales jumped up. So as much as we talk shit about it, as much as we don't like it, apparently it gets ticket sales. So
for those diehard WWE guys that says WWE can do no wrong, and just the casual audience that just like, hey, there's a wrestling show at our area. Let's go to it.
Yeah, and you know that, I know that, Jeff knows that, but the WWE is going to play into it because that's what makes them money. And as much as we talk shit about it, we'll talk shit about it until the cows come home.
Or
But if it
something
makes them
breaks.
money, but if it makes them money, they're gonna keep going to it. And you know what? As much as Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns is boring to me, Brock Lesnar is a face. I love that dude. That's it.
He has been
I-
good. He
I
has
will-
been good.
I will say after watching SmackDown after we recorded our Scully's episode, I watched the whole when Roman fired Paul Heyman. He's like, "Oh, I'm doing it because I want to protect you from Brock." And I'm just like, you know what? I don't feel as bad picking that feud as my feud of the year so far, because I will admit because they're putting so much A game on this. It is entertaining to see Brock Lesnar as that guy who just does not give a shit whatsoever, because he knows he could just completely he can eat everybody. He can Bork laser everybody.
And I loved it on Raw when he's standing on the stairs and he just looks into the camera. He says, "Acknowledge me," and then winks at the camera. I'm just like,
and
dude,
there
does
you
not care.
go. Like this, which once again proves my point that WWE, when they want to, can absolutely produce good wrestlers, good matches, good segments. The problem is that there's too much focus on just a small handful of upper crust people, and that's where it all. For many, I know that's enough for the people who are still buying tickets, but my faith was broken in WWE over the long term. And that's absolutely going to need to be rebuilt again over the longer term. Yeah, maybe they'll produce one or two matches that may have my attention, but the love that I used to have is going to have to be rebuilt over a long time. Does that make sense?
I'm gonna add on to that and just say it's not just when they put their A game. You can tell that Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and Paul Heyman are the ones in the real creative control of this storyline. They're the ones that are just full on. This is their baby. This storyline is their baby, and they're the ones who are giving the creative freedom. And like you look at their storyline, and then you look at like the rest of the show that is heavily scripted. And if you try and do anything off script, you will either get fined or fired. So it's just one of those things like, well, why can't everyone have the creative freedom of their storylines to actually put on something entertaining? But no, you have to have Vince say, you follow my script, because their script, I most of the time just tear it up anyway, and I just rewrite it myself. So, and I swear
the tale is old as time.
I just have to ask: is him with Austin Theory actually going to lead to anything? Because it seems like Vince has taken more control over those segments than Austin Theory has. He's just there. Of course not.
This is another Vince vehicle to get himself over, even though he doesn't need to do that, because all he needs to do is show up on screen and the casual fans will go nuts.
I can't.
Oh boy.
There's just so many things that just watching these shows, like after I'm watching SmackDown and I'm just looking, I'm like, compared to how when I watch the AEW, I'm just like, it's night and day just how much different these shows are from, once again, the heavy scripts, the terrible booking decisions, the terrible storylines, the constant zooming in and out, cutscene, and someone's punch. So like 12 different cuts in a matter of seconds for one particular beatdown. It's a complete and utter mess.
I don't watch wrestling like an anime. Okay, if I wanted to watch an anime, I'd watch an anime. Okay, I don't need my wrestling to be cutting and doing
Kevin Dunn hasn't watched anime.
Oh, please. If you want to watch anime in wrestling form, we'll get to him. I'll explain my running theory in
We
a
all know
minute.
we all know Kevin Dunn hasn't watched a single anime in his entire poor existence.
No, he watches hentai.
A piece of garbage. I hate that guy so much.
But anyway, enough negativity. What do you say we get to the good stuff already?
Please.
Like we saw a
more.
far superior show this week. Yes, friends, we've got AEW Dynamite came to our neck of the woods again, and we all got better seats and we all saw a much better show. We were there in person for the January 5th edition of Dynamite and this week's episode of Rampage. And boy, it was better than the last time.
It truly was better than it was so much better than the show in September that we went to. Oh my, just adding the fact that this show was a historic event anyway for the first episode on TBS. There wasn't anything wrong with this show. If we were even watching it at home, this would be like, we would have just as much fun.
Yeah, I mean, if I really wanted to nitpick, I could find a thing or two, but for the most part,
I have something.
Well, I got some too, but it was still a damn good show. One of the best ones I've seen in at least a decade.
Mm-hmm. As a guy who watched it at home, I can confer with Scholar Tarek and basically say this. The thing about a show is that you want it to fly by. You want it to be like, oh, that was really quick. I need more. Why did you stop there? And that's exactly what this show gave me in spades, at least at home. Because unlike both of my compatriots here, I was unable to scrounge up the cash to get to this show. So watching it at home, really, this was an A+ effort. Like, I realized that they went all out because this was the first episode of TBS.
Pun.
But it's I didn't even mean to do that, but okay.
It works though.
Yeah, but very inspired choice to start the show with Paige versus Danielson.
Oh boy, Paige versus Danielson. This is one of the few things I could actually complain about. Again, I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here. The match itself was fantastic, and it was so good to see Bryan Danielson live again. The one thing that bugged me about this match was it almost pulled like a Chekhov's gun situation where they were like, okay, we've got the judges at ringside. If this goes for an hour draw again, we're going to bring out the judges. And I felt like by the way they were positioning it, I was going in expecting a 1 hour draw Iron Man match. So I was like ready for it. And then as soon as he hit the buckshot lariat, I'm like, oh wait, that got the 3? Oh, okay. I was expecting like a false finish or something.
Because the deal is, okay, it's been this way the entire time since they've done the judges. They've had the judges come in before. I knew it wasn't gonna go 60 minutes again from the jump, because the last time they brought the judges in, it was for the same reason. There had been a draw, and then they brought the judges in, and it's just it's when the judge that's gonna be the thing going forward with AEW. That's gonna be their trope. Okay, the WWE has so many tropes, it's unfathomable, really. But the one trope that AEW is gonna have is that when there's judges assigned for the match, they're never gonna need them. That's it. I went in knowing that, and the best result that could have happened. Okay, I do want a Bryan Danielson title run at some point, but Hangman Page is too over right now. You can't do it.
Yeah.
As much as I love the guy, you can't do it. Hangman Page needed to win. He needed to win clean, and he did.
Yeah.
And
Like we were
that's what
talking about, that even came up with the group we were with. Like the consensus was, yeah, we weren't surprised at all. Bryan Danielson is not going to be hurt by this win at all. Hangman Page can only go up from here. So yeah, the match delivered. No one got demoted or it looked bad at all. As a matter of fact, seeing him, he's one Hangman Page rather, in my view, is one of those guys where once you see them live, you get to see how good this guy really is. Last time we went, I had the same exact reaction to Darby Allin. Not that I didn't like him before, but like when you see him, you see how explosive he is when you see him in living color here. Same thing with Hangman Page. I got a lot more out of Hangman Page that night than I ever have in a show I've seen him in before.
I will admit, I think one also. Sorry, there's people racing in the parking lot, like legit. Oh, weird. Okay, back to what I was saying. I think one big factor that made this show even 10 times better was the fact that Dan Lambert wasn't on the show.
You know what? I didn't even notice.
Because
that to tell you everything you need to know.
The fact that it didn't center, there wasn't one segment that centered around Dan Lambert and either Cody or Brandy Rhodes, really, really helped the show for me. It's like, okay, this is our first show on the new network. This has got to be a big show. Let's not have the one match, one feud no one gives a shit about on this show. And it's definitely one big positive thing that hit on me. Although I see where you're going with that. You were thinking about the whole Chekhov's gun with the judges. I didn't think they were going to need the judges either. I was just expecting it like to be the match to go closer. I think it was like what, just under 35 minutes.
I think it was about 35 minutes or like 35, 40 minutes. I want to say like
I was expecting
around that time.
I was expecting at least another 10 minutes. I was expecting to go around 45 minutes before they reached the end, but I didn't care about that really. The only real like criticism I actually had with this show was the TBS championship final, because one, it didn't feel like a final to me. And I told this to you when we were there. I'm like, that the match actually started off pretty fine. It wasn't that bad of a match, but by the end of it, it kind of started falling apart. Jade Cargill's definitely showed how green she still is. Where, like I said, it didn't take anything away. It just, that match definitely became the resting match for the crowd, because everything else on the show was just nonstop adrenaline.
And I think that's why I was easier on this match than you were at the time. Because I just chalked it up to, okay, Jade Cargill's doesn't have the most insane move set. She's just like a powerhouse who throws her weight around. She's green. She's a little bit experienced, but not bad by any means. But her pace is different.
Of a seller. It's just also, it's like, I don't know. She just doesn't. She doesn't sell as well as like you'd think she would in like certain moves. I mean, I was even talking with Dave about this during the show. He actually hated that match. He thought it was terrible.
Shocked.
But yeah, I was, compared to Dave, I was actually more. I was less critical of it, but it still didn't take anything away from it. I still like, it was the show overall, at least Dynamite wise, was an absolute blast for me. Rampage not so much. To be perfectly honest, I actually hated the 6-man tag main event.
Yeah, that is one of my rare things where I just gotta be nitpicky here. That match was absolutely for the TV crowd. This one was just all over the place. When you were there live, you didn't know where to look. Half the time they were
I-
on the floor. I couldn't even see where they were.
I even sent it to you. I sent it to you and Jeremy. I'm like, this is a house show match. This wasn't an actual professional TV show match.
Well,
They were all. It was an absolute mess of a match,
Even
and
then-
I actually found myself bored.
Most of the time, I feel like that's how Rampage really is. Okay, it's as since we're going with the TNT and the TBS parallels. Okay, Rampage is the Thunder to Rampage's Nitro, if you will.
I do agree on that.
You
I
mean
just
Dynamite's Nitro?
And for me,
yeah.
yeah, to Dynamite's Nitro, and the thing I always thought back then was like Thunder is the house show equivalent of what you would see on Nitro. So I kind of give it I give Rampage matches a little more slack than the ones I do on Dynamite, because unlike with Raw and SmackDown, to bring the parallel, okay, you know which show is the A show and which show is the B show. Okay, you know which show is the enhancement show. You know which show is the real show. Dynamite is the real show. Rampage is the enhancement show, house show style. So it's like that most of the time. You'll every now and then they'll throw a heater on there. They'll throw a title match on there to make you think something's gonna happen. But it just shows parallels to me. And so I give Rampage matches a little more slack than I would Dynamite matches. I did not have, watching Dynamite on the TV, I didn't have a huge problem with Cargill and Soho, because I know that Cargill's green. I know that in the moment when they told her, "Hey, you're winning this match," okay, you get a little excited, so everything gets a little jumbled in your mind, and whatever. So I give the benefit of the doubt on that one. The thing that on TV that the tag team title match, and that the when Ray Phoenix destroyed his arm.
I was gonna
at
say,
least
if you want a title, if we're talking about title matches that do deliver, you can't say this one did not. This one was great.
Okay. Before we get onto the tag title match, because, well, one thing, it's nice to know that he actually did not destroy his arm.
Yes.
It turns out he just basically
But when you
popped
see
out and they could pop it. It looked worse. Yes.
But when you see it on the TV, holy shit.
It looks scary. You actually think it was people compared it to Psycho Sid.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I do have to put this out there. Maybe just where we were sitting, but it seemed like the live crowd didn't really see it, since it wasn't like front and center. We were actually on the other side of where he landed, so we didn't see it happen live.
Oh yeah,
so it was just
we
like
didn't see it happen.
table spot, yay.
And then I actually looked it up during the show, because I was on my phone just keeping up to date, and they said, "Oh, he broke his arm during the match." I'm like, "Wait, what?" And I told Jeff and Jeremy that. It's like, yeah, he was sent to the hospital after the show, because they say he broke his arm.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like most of the crowd didn't even know anything was wrong until Tony Khan actually came out and announced to the entire crowd that he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when watching it on the TV, it's like you knew right away, because it's like his arm's just kind of chilling. Everything
Yeah.
else is moving. His arms just kind of chilling there. That's it. I'm like, fuck. That's
Okay,
it.
but to go back to basically go back to what you were saying, Brian, about how you were just comparing Dynamite and Rampage to like Raw or SmackDown or just like the enhancement show. And I really got to respectfully disagree on that when I compare it with Rampage. If you want to look at just what enhancement / house shows are like, just watch Dark. Those AEW Dark is more house show especially the enhancement matches for the stars. I even was saying that to people I was sitting next to during the show. I'm like, well, I don't really pay attention to Dark because all it is just they're squash matches for the stars. They're the local talent versus the stars. Local talent doesn't do jack shit. Maybe one move, maybe a punch, but the rest is just the stars destroying them. I compared it to like when you're playing a video game, or like when you're playing either Mortal Kombat or WWE game, and you have the practice mode. The people who you're fighting against who are not fighting back, those are the talent. Those are the people that are the local talent for Dark and Dark Evaluation or
Evolution.
Revelation.
Revelation. I can't English today. Elevation.
Elevate. That's when I look at Rampage, I just looked at it as more like these are either the lower card storylines with sprinkles of big stars or big main event matches thrown in. But I don't look at it as like I don't look at Rampage as house shows, because this 6-man tag match was actually the first Rampage match that I actually did not like. I was watching and be like, God, this match, I was legit saying this match sucks. And I said this was a house show match, and that's honestly being too mean for house shows. Or independent shows. That match was just fell apart, slipping on those giant faces, slipping on water because they're spraying each other with it. And
I was honestly expecting them to go into the crowd, go up the stairs, fight into the crowd, give them one of those when I actually have good seats for once.
Yeah. But I just ended up, I was like, I just looked around. There was one point where I didn't know where anyone was in the match because they were all laying down, punching each other. I'm like, where is everyone? This is not even a good fight, like staged fight. So I'm just like, God, Eddie Kingston's been losing points for me recently. This isn't helping.
This is really the only, as far as Eddie Kingston is concerned, this is like the one time where like things didn't go his way in my eyes. Like I'm really willing to give Eddie Kingston a pass on most things, but this one just
the only fun thing about Eddie Kingston that I had on that show when we went is that during the Dynamite, he was wearing the legit exact same pants I was wearing at the show. So I'm like, Jesus Christ, me and him have the same sweatpants.
Eddie Kingston's wearing my pants. Yeah.
He's wearing the same exact sweatpants that I have. Son of a bitch.
It's like I will always root for Eddie Kingston, but okay, at this point, I think I think he needs his tag team partner back, because whatever he's doing right now isn't really working for me.
I'm gonna call this one right now. I'm predicted John Moxley is gonna come back within a month. By the end of February.
Well, here's the deal, okay? He's gonna come back to AEW first, but he's already got his GCW title match at the end of January in the Hammerstein Ballroom. So I'd expect to see him back in AEW within the next couple weeks, because he's going to show up in AEW before he shows up at GCW.
Or he returns as GCW champion.
That could be fun. Open yet another forbidden door.
Yeah, exactly. Why? Yeah, he's the perfect guy to do it. But yeah, I'm probably gonna get a lot of heat for this, but I feel like Eddie Kingston now is kind of what people have been putting Bray Wyatt or Wyndham Rotunda, just as a jobber to the stars.
I can see how you would think
like
that.
He's great on the mic. He knows how to get to build a promo. But like when it comes to his matches, I rarely see him win, especially like one-on-ones. And it's just one of those things. It's like you talk well, but you haven't really like it really impressed me when it comes to like in-ring work.
Well, it's like
So
I'm not gonna go that far, but I do.
like I said, I'm probably gonna
agree
get
with the
heat from
fact-
that.
I do agree with the fact that okay, I haven't seen you win a pay-per-view or a big match that you were in. I haven't seen you win one of those in a long time. Okay. Okay.
Hell, I don't. Has he?
I'm sure someone in the record keeping knows that better than we do.
It's one of those deals where until it was the same thing with Lance Archer. Okay, he never beat anybody until he beat Moxley in that street fight. Whenever there was a big match, he didn't win, and that's Kingston now. So it's just one. I feel like at least in his eyes, or in his, it's going to be the Jericho thing when he first came to the WWE. Like he could win he could win the minor matches, but he couldn't win the big one until he got. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do a thing like Jericho Rock when Jericho first won the big one. Okay, that it's gonna be Kingston Moxley, and Kingston's finally gonna beat Moxley, and then Kingston can start going on a run of his own. I feel like that's how they're gonna roll with it, but I'm not gonna go with the entire route because it seems with at least AEW superstars, I'm on the complete different track from Tarek at all times. I like Darby Allin, he doesn't.
Hey, I am now a fan of Darby. I will say that now. I am a fan of Darby. I even said it when I say he probably would eventually grow on me, but just at that time, I am actually a fan of him now. I actually do like him.
So now we've got to get him back on the train of Kingston.
I'm with what you were saying, Brian, I'm just thinking, honestly, I don't think I can ever see him as champion. I don't see him ever really being on top of the mountain. I could see him as just a top mid card at tops.
Well, I feel like half the people who are who have been WWE champion is WWE champion, and so it's just one of those. It's just one of those things. He's got the fans behind him. So it's just one of those things. You got to put him in the right position.
Then again,
I see a long line of people getting that title before he does. And I'm just saying,
I've got a theory.
I just said he's never going to get it. I don't think
I've got a theory about that.
Austin theory.
No, here we'll even make a scholar's quick talk that'll segue into whatever. Here's a thesis. Respond to it however you wish. The opposite of Eddie Kingston in AEW is Hook. Discuss. Agree? Disagree?
Here's the thing about Hook. I love the fan love behind him.
Yeah, they were absolutely going nuts for Hook.
He's a prop
Like-
at this point.
I don't know much about him to actually make a big impact. I don't even know where he came from. This is the first I've actually heard of him.
He's Taz's son.
He's legitimately Taz's son.
There you go. Now, okay,
But
that's me
it's-
learning things now. Okay,
Oh, I honestly thought you knew that.
no, I had no idea.
But the
I had
deal
no idea
is,
where he came from.
they played it up so great. Okay, the one thing that AEW does is when they build up debuts. Okay, they built him up so great that there was no possible way that he would have been able to do as well as people thought he was going to do.
I'm not gonna lie.
his
Every
debut
time I hear a hook,
But his
I'm sorry,
but
you
his
go.
debut match was great. His debut match was great. The next time he came out was good. It was great. So it's the problem is Eddie Kingston's fan love is real, whereas Hook's fan love is manufactured. If you get what I'm saying.
I can sort of see what you're going for, where
It's
a lot of Eddie Kingston's love is more heartfelt and it's been cultivated over years and years and
It's
years.
been cultivated over years and years, and when he wins the title, the jubilation is going to be real, and it's going to be heartfelt, and it's going to be, and it's going to be like, it's going to be up there with it. I won't say when, I'll say if he wins the title. If he wins the title, like, people are going to be crying in the stands. I'll say that right now.
It has to be in around the New York, New Jersey area.
Guaranteed.
No,
If he wins.
It has. It would be the best. It would be for the best if it was around that area, but that's not the only area that has Eddie Kingston fans. It's
Oh,
just the one that has the most. It's just the one that has the most oomph.
I think that if you're expecting crying crowds, it would have to be around here. I see it just be happy people. I don't see crying people anywhere else but here, up here in
the
Jersey.
thing with Hook, okay, it's it's hard to put it into words.
I'm more into the fan reaction more than him. And like I said, this is honestly going to this show, watching his match. That's actually my first time seeing him.
Yeah,
because I don't recall ever seeing him with Team Taz. Like whenever I see Team Taz segments, I guess I just never really pay attention.
He was just the guy standing back there with his hood up in a generic gray hoodie. And the only time anyone would ever draw any attention to him at all was when Taz was on commentary, and it was just like, that's Hook right there. That's Hook. I'm like,
all I ever think about now when
Twitter,
people are chanting Hook is
Hook. And then Twitter went nuts, did their whole send Hook thing, and that's the thing. That's why I say Hook is a prop. Okay.
He's an over prop. Like, honestly,
and that's
Fool.
fine. That's fine.
I'll tell you what, Fool. I know you heard it. There was a "We're all hookers" chant.
Yes,
that was fantastic.
There was a "We are hookers" chant. Yep. But honestly, I'm thinking, I'm not thinking hookers. I just think Dustin Hoffman. I'm just going Hook, 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 Hook. And I'm
it
just
works on
imputing
so many levels.
How I despise them.
But when I say that Hook is a prop, I don't say it in a bad way. I'm just saying that with the cheers going to Eddie Kingston, it's more heartfelt, it's more real, it's more it's more because you know his backstory and all that. Hook's pop is just because they saw him on TV, they started something on Twitter, and then everybody went nuts, and here we are now. That's why if you're going opposites in that way, I agree completely. They are on two opposite sides of the scale because Eddie Kingston's pop is more heartfelt and all that, while Hook's pop is more because
Shiny new toy
got over on Twitter. Everyone went nuts. Here we are now. That's it.
Either way, just look at the way this discussion has gone so far. There's still so many different things to love on every conceivable level about AEW, where even though one or two people are still missing, you're not missing much. You're still having a great show. And once again, I miss seeing CM Punk by 1 week.
And we missed them last time in September, but seeing Jurassic Express singing the
that was fun, and that title switch was totally unexpected.
It was such a great match.
It was so much match of the night. Once again, Pentagon is involved with my AEW match of the night.
No, it kind of makes me wonder a little bit because of how unexpected that title change was. If it was really supposed to happen, or they audibled after the arm exploded.
No, definitely not. That was what they always meant to do. Not only did they have all that stuff go on, but if they really wanted to keep the call, if they had to call an audible, they could have just had Pentagon pin Jungle Boy or something.
Mm-hmm. And to go with your CM Punk thing, Fool, this is like one of those situations where you have a disqualification finish that actually makes sense, because in AEW, wins and losses matter. And CM Punk is just going out of his way to make sure MJF loses, to keep him as far away from the world title as possible. It is great storytelling, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with CM Punk and Wardlow, even though a part of me thinks I see MJF basically pulling what Punk did and just like just slapping Wardlow just so Wardlow can get the win by DQ, to do what with CM Punk to
thus advancing to feuds.
Mm-hmm.
That makes too much sense.
Because they're not going to have
we're
either.
Not on WWE brain here, because we're talking about AEW, so making sense is good.
But this is the way that it does make sense, where it's like, oh, it gets you angry because because it's not just a terrible booking decision. It's just one thing's like, are you kidding me? We really are not getting this. It's us getting angry at the story, other than just us getting angry at the booking. There's a difference.
Bingo, absolutely. Where there's still enough going around, and it all makes more logical sense, where it's literally a reason to keep watching every week and buy tickets again, which is going to happen sooner rather than later. But hey, that is a conversation for another time and for another wallet. But anyway, that is how we're bringing it all back.
I will say one thing. More whenever AEW comes around here, expect me to get a ticket.
You're not. I'm probably gonna wait until the next big show that they actually come to Newark. I think it's gonna be a while. You know what I mean. Shut up. But yeah, either way,
it's sad. It was sad seeing him, because you could just see how much pain he's in walking. Hell, there are pictures of that show, him backstage, of them working on his knee.
Those I haven't seen yet.
They posted someone. I don't remember where. I think it was on Twitter, where someone posted pictures of backstage stuff during the show, and Big Show was getting his knees worked on.
Yeah.
I'm like, all he did was just walk to the announcer's table and walk to the ring or to the front row. Jesus Christ, he has his knee checked there. I feel so bad for this guy. Hell, when I went to WrestleMania, I actually saw him walk backstage. Same exact story. He looked like he was in so much pain walking.
Oh boy.
I feel so bad for the guy.
Yeah, well, again, I don't know much what else to say about that other than he's got given the most.
Well, I don't have anything else to say about the show, but full beer, goat face all around.
Goat face, one hell of a show, easy. Definitely gonna see them again. Probably not, whether it's later on this year or not. We're gonna be there if it comes back to our neck of the woods.
Absolutely.
Yes. But anyway, those are our thoughts over the opening weeks of the world of wrestling. What did you think about it? Did day one impress? Did you happen, or was AEW and the winner once again? Let us know what you think. Drop us a line anywhere across the internet. Facebook comments, YouTube posts, YouTube comments and Facebook posts, or you can just skip all that nonsense and just join us on the Twitter machine, starting with @ScholarsOW for all the latest episode uploads every single week. Or you can join in the conversation on our personal accounts. Fool, where can I reach you on Twitter?
You can reach me now, having my next wrestling related event going to Mick Foley at Levity Live at the Avataric.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Coming in June.
Oh boy.
I'm pumped.
Hey, there's some time. Maybe we'll go too. And
More
Scholar
Boulder.
Brian. Scholar Brian, where can I reach you?
I'm gonna tell him that the boulder, I put the boulder as a face of Foley.
Brian, where can I reach you?
You can find me hoping to be able to do any of that at Atomic Beanful.
And you can catch me trying to talk my wife into spending more money at I'm Robbie Rage. Join the conversation. We got a great year of wrestling to look forward to, but you already knew that because you know who we are. We're the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
See you all next time.
Oh.